Hey guys. Okay, so hang around me long enough or stalk us enough on socials and you will very quickly realise that I'm a sucker for analogy. I love using analogies to help me explain town planning principles or rules and regulations. Anyway, I was recently having a conversation with a client about why council had actually crossed off the carport and crossover, aka driveway, from his DA approved plans, so his town planning approved plans. And during the course of that conversation, I came up with a ripper of an analogy. It was one of those moments where I was just like, damn! That is good. I am banking that one for use in future. So I thought, hey, why don't in this week's video, I share that analogy with you guys. Hopefully at the end you get the same reaction I did and you're just like, yep, it hits hard, Peter. We get where you were going with this one. We'll soon find out, right? Anyway, when it comes to the grocery stores here in Brisbane, we don't have a one-stop shop. So we don't have somewhere that you can go for your bulk goods, for your everyday cost-effective items, your more fancy schmancy sort of items, your market fresh produce, all of that sort of stuff. No, instead you have Costco for the bulky sort of stuff, Aldi for the more cost-effective sort of stuff, Coles and Woolies for the more fancy schmancy sort of stuff. You even have boutique shops that go even fancier and schmancier. And then you have the markets on the weekends for the fresh produce. You get the idea. There is no one-stop shop for all of those different things. Now, the reason why there is no one-stop shop is Business 101. You can't be everything to everyone. Or what's the other saying? If you market to everyone, you market to no one. So yeah, Business 101, you have to niche, you have to focus on a specific area so you can get efficient in that area and get good at that area. And if you try and spread yourself too thin, you're just never going to succeed. Now, it's exactly the same when it comes to the planning or construction and building sort of industry. If council was to offer a one-stop shop type service for all planning, building, construction related approvals, it would just not work. Like, there is no way it could possibly work. I mean, for one thing, training. You imagine trying to train one person up in all of the legislation, so the planning legislation, building legislation, crossover legislation, tree information, like the list goes on and on and on. You'd only just get to the point where they were starting to grasp the basics of each one and they'd move on to a different organisation and you'd lose that knowledge gap. Like, it could never, ever work. So instead, what council does is they have different departments to cover off different types of legislation. So you have the planning department that covers the planning legislation, the building department that's the building legislation, the plumbing department, the plumbing legislation, the crossover permit. You get the idea. It goes on and on and on. So yeah, by focusing on each separate piece of legislation, they can learn their trade, master their trade, and become really efficient and good at it. Now, going back or circling back to this conversation I had with the client, so the reason why council actually crossed the carport and crossed the crossover off the plans was because it wasn't them basically sitting there saying, nah, we don't approve it. It was them just saying, yeah, unfortunately you can't get that from the planning shop. You need to go over to the crossover permit shop to get that. Or you need to go over to the siting variation shop or department within the building shop to get that one. So yeah, like I said, moral of the story is you can't be everything to everyone. You can't have this one-stop shop just like the grocery stores. You've got to have different things for different people to make life work. And the number of stores you've got to run to depends on the nature of your proposal, the type of site you've got, all of that sort of stuff. So, does the analogy work? Do you get where I was going? Hopefully you do. Anyway, that covers off everything I want to talk about today, as I always like to say. Until next time, thanks for watching.
For all you red tape lovers out there, I have one thing to say. Well, no, actually, I've got three. Number one, the advice provided in these videos is general in nature. It's not site-specific. You would be a silly Billy to go and make financial decisions based on this advice without first checking with the town planner. Don't be a silly Billy. Number two, Brisbane town planning is in no way linked to Brisbane City Council. The views expressed in these videos are my own, not council's. So if you don't like them, blame me, not council. Number three, what was my number three? Oh yeah, the views expressed in these videos are accurate at the time of recording. If you're watching this video back 10 years from now, the views may not be so accurate. That's all.